Hello, my dear young friends, educators, and all those of you who are watching this fantastic series. You're with me, Pickbrain, here at a class apart, the Mrs. YGP Memorial Quiz 2021, the second season of this wonderful initiative created for celebrating knowledge, celebrating India by the Padma Seshatri Bal Bhavan group of institutions. It's been a fascinating journey over the last 2 years, and the quarterfinals have been really difficult. If you have watched it, you would know. We're now down to the final 16 of this nation. Some remarkable talent coming in from across the country. And it's really nice to see between last year and this year, a lot of new talent emerging in this quiz, which is fantastic. New faces, new schools, new cities. That's really encouraging, and that is really what the objective of a quiz like this is, to reach more people. Well, time for us to now take you into the semi-final, and to take you through the semi-final, well, it's the lady you only know too well. Her questions are not easy, but she can be very encouraging as a host. A teacher herself, an alumnus of NITK Surathkal, where she was teaching, well, she's a 40 under 40 listed person by Business World, and that's a huge recognition for her growing stature and popularity. A co-host with me at Tata Crucible, she's been at the helm of this quiz since last year, as she does with many other. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to grill all you youngsters through the semi-finals and to identify the top 4 from across our nation, please welcome your host, Miss Rashmi Furtado. Over to you, Rashmi.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, Pickbrain. Ladies and gentlemen, and my dear students, welcome to the third semi-final of a class apart Mrs. YGP Memorial Quiz 2021, brought to you by PSBB Group of Institutions in collaboration with TCS ION and Knowledge Tribe. This is the second year of this quiz. We've already completed the first edition last year, and we had a lot of repeated inquiries on when this quiz is going to happen again. So we decided we must have a second edition on this. And we are now on the third semi-final. What that means is that we have already identified our first 2 finalists. If you haven't watched the first 2 semi-finals, go ahead and watch it. Very interesting quizzes. But for now, let me introduce our finalists to you and then get into the rules of the game. First up, we have Siddharth Kumar from St. Thomas Residential School, Trivandrum. That's Siddharth for you. Up next is Harit Mohan from Bhavans Vidya Mandir, Ernakulam. Following Harit is Ninad Sahu from Mothers Public School, Khurda. And completing our lineup here today is Kabir Dubey from Jawaharlal Nehru School, Bhopal. Well, this is the lineup that I have for you here today. Let's not forget that these kids are among the top 16 of the thousands of kids who took part in this quiz. And from this particular semi-final, we'll only have the winner who will qualify to the big finale that's coming up. Yes, so only the winner from this quiz will qualify. All the questions that I have for them here today are on the buzzers. The scoring pattern would be plus 50 if they get it right, minus 50 if they get it wrong. Single attempt per question only, multiple attempts are not allowed. And every question will stay valid for about 5 seconds, and if none of them press the buzzer in those 5 seconds, we will move on to the next question. Rest of the rules have been explained to these semi-finalists already, so I will not take more time and get into the semi-final. Let's begin a class apart Mrs. YGP Memorial Quiz. The first round, she is historic. Here we go. All right, What I have for you is visuals on your screen. Along with those visuals, I have corresponding questions. However, it's your decision if you do not want to wait for me to ask the question and press the buzzer right away. I do not guarantee you that the answer that you have may actually correspond to the question that I am going to ask, but that's the risk you take. The scoring pattern is plus 50 and minus 50. Let's remember that. Question number 1 of She is Historic on your screens now. Who is this great Nobel laureate with Indian roots? I have Ninad on the buzzer. Go ahead, Ninad.
He is Rudyard Kipling, the author of The Jungle Book, featuring Mowgli, Baloo and Bagheera, as well as Kaa.
Alright, with the entire story, there is Ninad getting a plus 50 on that, on Rudyard Kipling. Wonderful answer by him, and the first plus 50 of this quiz that is awarded. Moving on, question number 2. Here we go. Which historic fort is this? I'll help you out. Think Jaipur. Kabir is on the buzzer. Go ahead, Kabir.
Amer Fort.
Amer Fort, or in English we call it the Amber Fort. Plus 50 to you. Absolutely right. Amer Fort giving him a plus 50. A beautiful fort. If some of you have not seen this fort, you must. It's a very, very beautiful historic site in our country. Moving on, question number 3 on your screen now. Identify this cup from the Kabir. Does not allow me to complete the question. Go ahead.
A 1983 Cricket World Cup which India won.
Plus 50 to you. Absolutely right. The 1983 Prudential Cup which India had won, and there is this iconic photograph of Kapil Dev lifting or holding this trophy. Absolutely right. Plus 50 on that to Kabir. Moving on. Question number 4 on your screens now. Identify the Mughal emperor from this tomb. Harit, go ahead.
Humayun.
He said Humayun's tomb. While it looks very similar to Humayun's tomb, the answer I was actually looking for is Akbar. This is the tomb of Akbar. He gets a minus 50 on that. Moving on, the last question of this round on your screens now. Identify a famous person. Kabir, go ahead.
Dronacharya.
Dronacharya. And what is this, Kabir?
This is the Dronacharya Award.
Plus 50. Absolutely right. I actually asked identify the person, so Dronacharya would give him the plus 50. Just wanted to nudge him a little bit to see if he knew what this is. This is the statuette that is actually given at the Dronacharya Awards. Plus 50 to Kabir. Moving on to the second round of this quiz. She is beautiful. Here we go. Before we move any further, let me quickly tell you where our contestants stand. I have Kabir leading the quiz with 150 points and Ninad with a 50 points. Harit unfortunately took a negative, but we have just completed the first round of the quiz. 3 more rounds of quiz remaining. So it is not very difficult for him to neutralize that negative that he's taken and move into the positives. All right. Moving on, let me show you an example in this round. It's very important for you to know the example from this round. Let's move on to the example, please. What I will show you is different images that will relate or connect you to a certain place. It can be a state, it can be a union territory, it can be any location in our country. But the way you get your answer is also with the number of blocks that has been shown to you at the bottom of the screen. Okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep going with the second round of this quiz. A class apart, Mrs. YGP Memorial Quiz going on here. First question of this round on your screen now. Kabir on the buzzer. He's very quick. Go ahead, Kabir.
New Delhi.
New Delhi, absolutely right, plus 50 on that. All of these monuments or structures that you see are located in New Delhi, plus 50 to Kabir. Moving on, question number 2 on your screens now. Ninad, go ahead.
It is Tamil Nadu.
Tamil Nadu, giving Ninad a plus 50. Absolutely right, plus 50 on that. Moving on, question number 3 on your screens now. Iconic images and structures. Kabir, go ahead.
The answer is Bihar.
Absolutely right, plus 50 on that. Bihar is what I was looking for. Moving on, the 4th question of this round. Well, the contestants are actually starting to gain a lot of points in this round. Let's move on to the next question on your screens now. Huge clues. Kabir, go ahead. He's on the buzzer.
Chandigarh.
Plus 50 to you. Absolutely right, Kabir. Chandigarh is the answer I was looking for. One of the images there, in fact, is of the rock garden that is there in Chandigarh. Getting a plus 50 on that is Kabir. Moving on to the last question of this round on your screens now. Ninad, go ahead.
It is Mysuru, commonly known as Mysore. The statue is of Mahishasura.
Ninad, I had told you in the beginning of this round that the answer for this particular round would be union territories or states, and that you would also have to count the number of blocks that are there at the bottom of the screen. Mysore does not fit the number of blocks that is given there. Getting a minus 50 on that is Ninad. The answer I was looking for is Karnataka. It was as simple as Karnataka. I would request you all to wait for a second and see the number of blocks and see the number of clues that are given to you on screen. While you may not be entirely wrong, but that is not the answer I was looking for. He takes a negative on that. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, we have completed the second round of this quiz. Let's move on to the third round. She is inspiring. Here we go. Two more rounds of quizzing remaining in this particular semi-final that we have. Let me tell you where all our contestants stand. Kabir is leading the quiz with 300 points. He's playing very well for himself. If I'm not wrong, so far he hasn't taken a single negative. But let's see if he continues that streak or not. Ninad just took a negative in the previous round and has gone back to 50 points. Well, Harith is yet to score and neutralize that minus 50. So even Siddharth is yet to score in this quiz. Now that we know where our contestants stand, let's move on into the third round of this quiz. She is inspiring. What I have for you is a couple of images coming up on your screen and corresponding questions along with that. The scoring pattern remains absolutely same. Let's move on to the first question. Here we go. Identify the painter. Ninad, go ahead.
This is a picture of Abhijanana Sakuntalam. It is by Raja Ravi Verma of Kerala.
Plus 50 on that to Ninad. Raja Ravi Verma, the answer I was looking for. Moving on to the second question of this quiz. Here we go. Where in India would you find this? Siddharth, go ahead.
Karnataka.
Oh, Karnataka, he says. Why did you say Karnataka, Siddharth?
Because I remember something about the largest statue of Buddhism. I don't know, ma'am.
Oh, okay. I thought there were huge clues there, but anyway, taking a negative on that is Siddharth. Karnataka is the answer he gave, but the answer I was looking for is Bodh Gaya in Bihar. Bodh Gaya in Bihar. And I mean, I don't really think Karnataka has such huge statues of a Buddhist looking, a Buddhist monk sitting in that manner. We usually have statues in Karnataka which are in standing postures and not necessarily in sitting. Bodh Gaya, Bihar is what I was looking for. Siddharth takes a negative on that. Moving on to the third question. Here we go. Who is this inspiring Kabir on the buzzer? He never allows me to complete the question. Go ahead, Kabir.
C.V. Raman.
C.V. Raman, giving him a plus 50. Absolutely right. Getting a plus 50 on that is Kabir again. Looks like he is trying to hold the lead that he has gained in this quiz. Well, he gets a plus 50 on that one. Let's move on to the fourth question. Here we go. Who is this coin a tribute to? Yes, Ninad, go ahead.
This is the Braille system, and the person who is engraved on it is Louis Braille, who invented the Braille system for the blind people.
Absolutely right. Getting a plus 50 on that is Ninad. Braille, the answer I was looking for. The last question of this round on your screens now. Who is this great Indian? I did not want to give any clues on this. Siddharth, go ahead.
Hargovind Khorana.
Oh, taking a negative on that is Siddharth again. He's actually a good quizzer. He played really well during the quarterfinals, but he takes a negative on this one. Satish Dhawan, the answer I was looking for. Satish Dhawan would have given you that plus 50. All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the last round of this quiz. She is a class apart. Here we go. Let me remind you here that you're watching a class apart Mrs. YGP Memorial Quiz brought to you by PSBB Group of Institutions in collaboration with TCS ION and Knowledge Tribe. But before we move any further with the last round of the quiz, let me tell you where our contestants stand. Kabir is still leading the quiz with 350 points. And I have Siddharth, who's just taken multiple negatives and he's on minus 100. Ninad is on 150. Harith on minus 50. The last round of the quiz, 5 more questions remaining. Well, if Ninad decides to take a plus 50s on all the 5 questions, then the tables will turn again. But if Kabir looks like he's in form today, and if he decides to take positives for the next couple of questions, then I think he would continue to be the winner. Remember, only the winner makes it to the final. All right. Finalists, in this particular round, nothing will appear on your screen. You have to listen to what I have to say. That means this entire round is going to be oral. Okay? Plus 50, minus 50, your scoring pattern. And like I mentioned earlier, this is the last round of the quiz. Okay? Good luck to all of you. Question number 1. In which city of India would you find the tomb of Tipu Sultan? Kabir on the buzzer, go ahead.
Sri Rangapattanam.
Sri Rangapattanam, giving him a plus 50. Beautiful answer. Sri Rangapattanam, the answer I was looking for. Moving on, question number 2. Who is known as the Frontier Gandhi? Siddharth, go ahead.
Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan.
Plus 50 on that. Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan is known as Frontier Gandhi of our country. Moving on, the third question of this round. Which great Indian was called the Flying Sikh? Siddharth on the buzzer, go ahead.
Milka Singh.
Plus 50 on that. Absolutely right. Milka Singh is what I was looking for. The penultimate question of this round or of this quiz. The Kali Ghat painting style is from which state of India? Ninad, go ahead.
West Bengal.
Plus 50 on that to Ninad. West Bengal is absolutely right. The last question of the quiz. Here we go. Which place known for its tourism was founded by King Raval Jaisal? Kabir again on the buzzer. He certainly is informed today. Go ahead, Kabir.
Jaisalmer by Raval Jaisal in 1156.
Plus 50 to you. Absolutely right. Jaisalmer, the answer I was looking for. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I mentioned earlier, Kabir is informed, and with 450 points, he has made it to the finale of this quiz. Our third finalist of A Class Apart Mrs. YGP Memorial Quiz, Kabir Dubey from Jawaharlal Nehru School in Bhopal, has made it to the big finale that's coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have identified 3 finalists so far, 1 more semi-final to go, and I think that semi-final will also keep you at the edge of your seats. Don't go anywhere. Semi-final 4 is coming up, and I will see you at that semi-final for sure. You take care.